Hello, everyone. If you do not recognize my voice, I am King Fats the 95th, and I am here with our wonderful friends, Action Shakespeare,
Hello.
B Drops,
Hello.
and the Magical Will Gopher.
Hello.
And this is kind of a little announcement slash meet the cast stream for this idea that I've had kicking around for a little while in my head, that these wonderful people have been so kind as to decide to join me on. As you can see from this lovely background that we have, and from the little BRB screen that we had, which was made by the wonderful, the magical Will Gopher. We are once again going to give them a round of applause for it.
Yay.
Yes, John Fox, that's right. It is a Kamen Rider podcast. As you can see, it is called Longtime Watcher, First Time Writer. The essential conceit of the podcast is that I am the longtime watcher. I've been watching Kamen Rider since I was in high school. So I'm going to say like starting around 2010, 2011-ish. And these other three people have never watched an episode of Kamen Rider in their lives, but they have all expressed interest in it. So I'm going to be kind of guiding them through the wild and wonderful world that is Kamen Rider. And we have picked a doozy of a Kamen Rider to start with, uh, at the initial behest of Action Shakespeare. Yes, I am blaming you for this.
I ruin everything.
Good job, Shakes.
Well, actually, no. It's fantastic that you
It's
brought the first.
But I ruined it.
This one up
yeah,
because,
honestly, it's probably better that you ruined it than that we did it the way I did. We are going to be starting with the very first Kamen Rider show ever to be produced. So Kamen Rider Ichigo from back in 1971. And we are going to be kind of watching through the episodes of that series and then sort of reacting to them. Going through our live thoughts about what we thought, and kind of getting these people's reactions to the strange things that Kamen Rider likes to do. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun, both if you are new to Kamen Rider and you have no idea what to expect, or if you're like me and you've been watching Kamen Rider for a while and you know how strange it gets. So I hope that you will join us for that when we are getting started with it. But the purpose of today is to kind of introduce the cast, let people kind of figure out things about who we are going to have here at this podcast. And so we're going to go ahead and just jump right into the interview portion, if that's okay with the rest of you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Do I have to put on pants for this?
You do not.
Okay, cool. I'm ready.
In fact, specifically, if anyone does have pants on right now, you got to take them off.
No,
Well,
And no
please.
pants during the interview
No,
section.
this cafe has decency rules. Thank you.
All right,
Is
never
shorts
mind.
okay?
Shakes, you got to put your pants
Yes.
back on. You can't wear shorts.
They can't see under this.
This is true. Nobody knows what's down there besides me. It's tentacles. Anyway, the first thing we want to do
Correct.
is pretty basic. I just want to have each member of the podcast. I guess since we've got this little lineup here, we'll start at Shakes and end at Gopher. But just kind of have each person introduce themselves for anyone who doesn't know who they are. Kind of you can make this as in depth or as kind of narrow as you want it to be, but just kind of let the people know who you are and what you do.
I am Action Shakespeare. I'm a streamer. I play the video games on the internet most of the time and other creative endeavors, but that's mostly what I do and what people know me for. I also do let's plays of Game Boy games. That's pretty fun. Um I guess I will say my experience with Kamen Rider is limited. Well, we're all limited, but like I have a little bit of cultural osmosis. Specifically one of the like I don't know, 2009, 2010-ish series, like a big scene from that is probably what has driven my interest of this series ever since. But other than that, I am virtually blind and I'm very excited. But I'm also a weird stickler for going back and watching things from the beginning. So here we are.
Okay, well, thank you very much for all of that, Shakes, and so now on to B with the same question.
Hello, my name is B Drops, or B if you prefer. I am a VTuber butler, so I do a lot of streams. I'm also a freelance artist. Um, I guess that would make me a variety streamer. My interest in Kamen Rider is from even more of a distant perspective than Shakes's, perhaps. I have seen extremely little of Kamen Rider. I know virtually nothing about it, but it always looked interesting to me. I enjoyed Power Rangers a lot when I was a young child, and I think Monster of the Week type series are really fun, and I like a lot of hokey Japanese practical effects. I love kaiju movies, so I think I'm going to have a really good time with this.
Okay, and then now for Gopher, same question.
Hello, I'm Gopher. I do sometimes streams of whatever I wish at the moment. My experience. Oh yeah, I also do a bunch of art and silly stuff like that, and try to run
Again, I would
tabletop
like
games.
to
Um,
point out the wonderful background that Gopher did. Everybody clap.
oh, um, and my experience with Kamen Rider is pretty much I saw a lot of GIFs on Twitter, um, maybe a few years back, and I just thought to myself, what am I getting myself into, or what is this? How can I watch this? And and then I Googled it, and every streaming site was like, well, we don't carry that, but if you want to spend $400 on the DVDs that are Region 2, um, feel free. And then I asked the internet, and they said, well, you can't watch it legally. And then I said, oh, well, I guess I can't watch that. But then Fats over here was like, well, what if I told you you can watch legally and you can do it with friends? So I'm like, yes, sounds fantastic.
To be fair, I feel like I should not have my horn tooted too much in that particular regard because A, the you can watch it legally thing only started happening within the last like 2 or 3 years. And B, it's also still only certain seasons.
Even
Uh
still.
Personally, I've been stealing my Common Rider for a long time.
Well, now it's on
You heard it
record.
here first, folks. We've been buying Kamen Rider perfectly legal for the whole time.
Yep, I've
Hmm.
Hmm.
never stolen Common Rider.
We buy every Kamen Rider we can reach.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
All two of them.
However, actually, that is
oh,
a
go ahead.
interesting segue because this seems to have been uploaded a little bit last year, but it looks like Shout Factory TV
Yes.
might just have all of the episodes of season 1 for free.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So
Uh,
since we are going to be,
Something to look into,
yeah,
friends.
yeah, if we're going to be starting with the first season, you're welcome to watch along, and when we start watching, or at least side by side, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's so, I mean, that's good news to know because I didn't know about Shout Factory specifically. I only knew about the first season being uploaded to Verve, which while it is a paid service, along with the first season, they have a few other Common Writer seasons as well as a bunch of Super Sentai seasons as well, though you may want to question the quality of those, as apparently some of them are dubbed, as Gopher and I found out a few days ago testing the screen share. And now my heart is filled with love for my boy Bernie Matsumoto.
Bernie Matsumoto.
Bernie
It's
Matsumoto,
such a
yeah.
Oh.
powerful name. I absolutely love it.
Whew, what a strong name. All right, well, moving right along with the interview, Shake's kind of jumped the gun a little bit on this question, which caused the people to follow suit, but I'm not going to be upset about that. The next question was going to be, what is your kind of uh general knowledge regarding Kamen Rider or even just Tokusatsu stuff in general? So including like Super Sentai, Power Rangers, Ultraman, the like weird outlier stuff like Kikaider, Metal Bee Rangers,
What?
etc., etc.
The well runs so deep.
The well
This
runs
does it
so
does
deep.
go pretty deep.
Basically,
Um
easiest way to figure out how deep the well runs is go look up an American Power Rangers ripoff show from the 90s. It's probably a tokusatsu.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they
Mhm.
they pulled so many of these.
They actually pulled
Saban
Kamen
bought a
Rider.
whole lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
they did Kamen
speaking
Rider twice,
of
actually.
speaking of dubs or lack thereof, the Shout Factory ones do seem to be in Japanese. So
Oh,
Nice.
sweet.
you're getting the original product.
Getting that
The only one I
quality.
found so far is season 1, but it is all 98 episodes of season 1.
All
And that'll
98, you
take
heard it
us
here
a
first,
year to
folks.
get through.
Yeah.
Because
Anyways.
originally we said it'll take us 6 months, and then we're doing it every other week, so that'll be a year.
Yep. Strap in, we're in this for
Oops.
the long haul.
Heck yeah.
Anyways, my experience, like many people, I probably have seen, or many people my age, I have seen a bit of a Power Rangers in my time. But otherwise, it has very much been through osmosis. God, I know I follow multiple people on Twitter who are into some form of Sentais. Uh, and I've seen a lot of very funny clips because of that, but otherwise have not been really have never taken that leap into it. I do remember there was one where there was a Sentai group. I think it was just entirely a gag moment, but they were all like shades of blue and gray and silver. That was the only colors.
Huh.
And the villain just like stops the fight and just goes like, "What is going on here? You guys are so alike. How do you tell each other apart?"
That's very funny. I will have to see if I can find that particular clip because I wonder if that's from. There was actually a Sentai series. It was like the 35th anniversary series or something like that. And so the whole gimmick was that the Rangers for that season had these keys that would turn them into Rangers from previous seasons. So they used to do stuff like that where it's like everyone's a Red Ranger, everyone's a Blue Ranger, everyone's a Yellow Ranger.
I think I've
So
seen a little of those too, yeah.
yeah, those are some good clips. I did actually want to see if I could press into. Do you remember anything more about that clip from that like mid 2000s Kamen Rider that you saw? Because
It's the
that's
one I linked you a while back with the I don't wanna say any more details. Well,
uh
it's Attack Drive Hibiki.
oh right, yes, the
Nobody
Decade
look it up
clip, right?
until
Yeah,
you
the
get to
crab.
there. Yeah.
What?
We cannot reveal about this
No,
clip
you
until
don't
we
get
see
Oh,
it.
more than that. But
I'm so excited.
Decade is an interesting series, and I thought it was quite an interesting thought when B said they were interested in starting there because I was like, boy, that'll be a wild ride. Speaking of B, if you'd like to go.
Like I said, my main exposure to this type of media is generally just my Power Rangers exposure that I had when I was younger. Um, I also have some limited Jet Jaguar experience based on
Oh
my
yeah.
Godzilla
Yeah,
viewing.
buddy.
Yeah, we got a
Jet
little of that.
Jaguar's the boy.
Love Jet Jaguar. Other than that, I had a friend while I was in school who was super into Power Rangers. They didn't show me too much, but occasionally explained things that were going on in the series, like space trains, and I don't know what's going on, but it all sounded really exciting.
Space trains. I wonder what because that's the interesting thing is when you go into the intersect with between Super Sentai and Power Rangers is they have made more and more of a point to explicitly change things from the Sentai version to the Power Ranger version. So I'd be interested in seeing where the space train comes from.
I'm not sure. I do believe my friend was watching the originals though.
Hmm. All right, over. It's you.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it quite a bit, but I, like B, had experience with Power Rangers, and I don't remember much about it except Red Ranger exploding and falling over. But
Yeah, no, that's I mean that's it. That's
that's
Sentai.
probably like every episode. But also
The sparks.
Zordon. I think that's the right. I think
I
that's
think
right.
I think
Trying to
there's something like that.
pull into my memory from like 17 years ago or whatever, but that's pretty much my only experience with the genre and with the gifs and such that I've seen, because I just look at them and they're like they look like fake shows to me, because I'm just like, this is so insane, and yet they're 40 years running.
Oh yeah, long running
So
legacy
I'm
of
just
a
like,
show
okay.
that looks like it's fake.
And I'm really excited to get to watch it and also see it from the ground up of how insane it gets and how insane it started as. So
Um, I have an addendum, I guess, to my tokusatsu experience
Hit me with it.
or and Sentai experience. I did watch uh most of the Aquabat Super Show,
Ah, yes.
which is heavily modeled after after Sentai and Tokusatsu shows of just being in a field and fighting a guy in a big rubber suit and
I mean,
those kinds of
that's the
things.
life, baby.
It's an incredibly good show, also on Shout Factory for free if you want to
I
watch
need
it.
to check out Aquabats because I've only heard good things about Aquabats as a show, but I've also only heard good things about Aquabats as a band as well. And I've only checked
Season
out like a handful of their songs.
season 1 is incredibly good. It's very stupid, it's very silly, and but it's like it's most of the episodes are directed by the dude who made Homestar Runner, and
Oh, that's amazing.
like they have like a bunch of like collaborative stuff with like Mega 64 and like weird shit. They still had to try to make it kid friendly, but they
Yeah,
were just trying to be as weird as possible with the show, and
I
it's
appreciate
definitely
that.
worth a look. And they have like a weirdly large pool of celebrity guests that they can take.
I will have to give that a look see at some point in time then. So the last question for us, and then after this, I suppose we can open it up to chat questions if chat has questions. You guys can ask me questions if you want or anything. You know, we'll sort of play it by ear after this last planned question. But the final question is, what made you specifically agree to this kind of weird idea that I've been brewing in my head for a while?
I don't know. I was bored.
You know,
No.
I appreciate that.
No. I mean, because I've been thinking about I I am a person who has a very hard time jumping into a large thing these days. I used to be able to do it so easily, and just over time, it has grown harder and harder. Usually because I'm just doing more things in my life.
Mhm.
Um, but when it's involved with any number of group, usually it is like 1,000 times easier when like a set of people are just kind of like, "Hey, do you all want to watch Kamen Rider?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, let's do it." So that's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly understand that. I've gotten my own fair share of things that I've been, like, seeing from afar and being like, "Man, I wanna get into that," but I just haven't because it can be a little difficult, so I can definitely appreciate that sentiment. What about you, B?
Um, on the opposite side of the spectrum from Shakes, I'm actually the reverse of that. I used to be very, very hesitant to jump into large series and projects like this, and I have been growing consistently more comfortable with them, particularly um since everything started happening last year, I guess. I got a lot more devoted to that sort of stuff. Um, at some point late 2019 or early 2020, I can't recall exactly, I had finally finished going through all of the Godzilla series, and then I got through all of One Piece this past year, and I finished like almost a dozen slasher series this past year as well. And like you'd said, I'd expressed interest in watching Kamen Rider, and it just seemed like a good opportunity to jump on.
Yeah, I remember you'd been really kinda crossing off some big series and some big, tasks off your list, so I'm glad that we can be kind of your next big task. Hopefully, it's not too big because we are talking about a God, I think actually like 40 plus year, yeah, definitely at least 40 plus year long series at this point.
Yeah, One
So
Piece seems like a baby compared to Kamen Rider.
yeah, God only knows how many episodes of Kamen Rider exist.
We did figure this out, didn't we? It was like
It's one and a half
1400 or something,
One
wasn't
Pieces.
Yes, that's right.
Oh,
Yes, it's 1.5 One Pieces long right now. And I'm pretty sure that's not counting specials or movies.
1.5 pieces.
Yeah. Take that, Oda. And what about for you, Gopher?
I kind of touched on it a bit earlier, but Kamen Rider has always been a thing that I look at and I'm like, that would be cool to watch. Um, and then you came up with the idea or presented the idea to me. It's like, hey, what if you watched a cool show, but you did a creative thing with it too, and with your friends? Just like, well, yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Kind of kill three birds with one stone there.
Yeah,
What a shot.
Yeah, right? Nice birdie.
I don't have enough knowledge to make a Kamen Rider pun with that, but insert Kamen Rider pun there.
Man, what a funny and witty and original Kamen Rider pun.
Thank you.
Wink. All right, well, with that initial interview section out of the way, I suppose now is the part where we get to start playing it by ear. If people want to open it up to questions from the lovely people we have in chat, we can do that. If you guys have any questions for me, you can do that. If you want to turn the interview around on me now, we can do that
Yeah,
now
let's
that you know all
turn
of the
the interview
questions.
around.
Um, I do have one question that I think might be helpful if you answered before you answered the rest of the things, just for perhaps our sake, but largely for the sake of anybody in chat who might not be super familiar with the terms, if that is all right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you want to just expand on like all terms, just tokusatsu? What are you
Um,
looking for
yeah,
definition wise?
particularly Tokusatsu and Super Sentai, because
Ah,
I just sitting here realized, oh crud, I didn't really comment on having experience with Tokusatsu. I forgot that like most kaiju movies fall in that category. So I guess I have
yeah,
a,
they
a
do,
decent
huh?
amount of
S-
experience with that. Yeah.
So if I recall correctly, like more or less the definition of tokusatsu is like special effects show. I think the definition is something like that, but essentially it is just a show that uses like a lot of special effects in order to convey what is being done. They are traditionally usually superhero shows of some kinds, although some of them are also like monster movies. Like for as B was mentioning, the Godzilla movies are technically under the veil of tokusatsu. Like the most famous and well-known tokusatsus are Super Sentai, which is what was brought over to America and turned into Power Rangers. Kamen Rider and Ultraman is the other like really big one. Ultraman
I
you have
get it.
probably seen uh if you've seen, just gifs of a giant silver and red dude like suplexing a guy in a rubber suit, that's Ultraman.
I just realized this is the age of rubber suits. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh yeah, it's we're
So
gonna
excited.
yeah, the suits in Kamen Rider Ichigo, they're gonna be so rubber.
Oh,
It's
I
you're gonna
can't
be able
wait.
to smell the rubber through the screen. It's gonna be amazing.
70 like 70-year-old rubber, or not 70,
Or at
30-year-old
least
rubber.
40-year-old rubber.
Ah,
Baby, catch the smell.
Mm.
Delicious. Super Sentai as a term, I guess Super Sentai isn't really used as a term because it's just
I
a
was
series.
muted.
Oh,
I
hey,
wanted
hi,
to inform you that it is literally 50-year-old rubber.
oh good
50-year-old.
Hi,
lord,
Okay.
it's
50-year-old
2021,
rubber.
y'all.
Hell yeah, it's 2021, 50-year-old rubber.
Also, I had a minor comment on Tokusatsu. Isn't that one? There's that one series that's like a comedy series about like RPG parties. Isn't that? I think that technically also falls under if you want some non-monster, non-superhero versions.
You
The
know,
one
I
where it's like this knife is coated in a deadly poison.
Yeah,
Why
I
did I
know
lick it?
exactly which series you're talking about. I suppose it would count. I don't know enough about like tokusatsu as a definition to be able to say for sure. I don't know if like tokusatsu is specifically only superhero shows or if it's just like any kind of special effects show.
I mean, if kaiju count, it's probably more about the effects
Yeah,
than
I think
the
it's probably
genre.
more about the effects than the genre, yeah. And
Well,
then
there you go.
Super Sentai, as I was saying, it's not really a term. It's just like it's a series. God, when did Super Sentai start? It started right around the same time as Kamen Rider. It was like 72,
Ooh,
73 that Super Sentai started out. Because
Yeah, that
if I
well runs
recall
deep.
are they
correctly,
rivals?
no, they're brothers. They were made by the same guy.
Oh,
could
I
do
And
love
it's
it.
the
both.
same dude who I'm pretty sure, don't
What
quote
if?
me on this, but I'm pretty sure it's the same guy who made Devilman.
Oh,
Oh,
that would be really, really cool.
Huh.
I'd have to go look it up because it's been a while since I looked into the origins of Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, but I do remember at least that much is that Toei, was it Toei? Yeah, I think it was Toei. Were like, we want to make these kids superhero shows, and so they found this manga artist, and I think he had actually been doing Kamen Rider as like a manga for a bit, like independently or something,
Yeah,
and
you
they
are
were like,
correct.
oh my gosh, King Fats for 3 from downtown.
Shotaro Ishinomori,
Yeah,
This guy
Ishinomori.
looks rad.
creator of Cyborg 009
Oh
and
yeah, that's right. He did create Cyborg
a
009
bunch of
too.
other shit.
Man, this guy
Did
rules.
he do Devilman? No, I don't think that's because Devilman's Gona guy. But this
Oh,
guy did
okay.
do Cyborg 009
He did no, then he did
and the Skull
Bow.
Man.
He did Bow, didn't he?
I don't see it on the
All right. Well,
list.
perfect
maybe
streak
I missed
ruined.
sometimes. But
You
yeah,
were on the right
so
track. You were on the right
yeah.
track.
Yeah, they found this manga artist. They were like, make these kid shows for us. And so he made Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, and they've kind of been running parallel ever since, except for the fact that their production cycles haven't been quite the same, especially because Super Sentai got interrupted one year so that Toei could do a season of a Spider-Man show. And boy, you guys, let me tell
Oh
you,
boy, Japanese Spider-Man is so good.
Japanese Spider-Man rules so hard. It is a series I would like to get to, especially with this group. I would love to get to the Japanese Spider-Man at some point because it's
Should we do
also
like a
like a.
Oh, I'm sorry, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say it's also like a late '70s series,
Yeah.
so
Ooh,
it's like
That's also one I've only seen clips of, but boy, are they good.
like
it
a good
was.
special or something.
Yeah, that is absolutely something I would love to do as like a special at some point in time. Is go through the old '70s Spider-Man Japanese TV show with his giant mech Leopardon.
Uh,
It's
Yeah.
oh
wait, Spider-Man with a giant mech?
yeah. Okay,
Which is also canon in the Spider-Verse comic.
What?
Oh,
not only that, and not only both of those things that just got said, Spider-Man having a giant mech is the reason there are giant robots in Super Sentai.
What? Is that
God,
is
Before
that
yeah,
canon?
that's
before
right. He originated it.
in the Super
Is
Sentai
that-
series that came before that, they didn't have giant robots. And then Marvel and Toei worked on that Spider-Man show, and that was the first time they did a giant robot. And they were like, "This rules. We're doing this in Super Sentai forever from now on."
that's
And every
amazing.
season of Super Sentai that started after that Spider-Man show, they
Okay.
did a giant robot.
Okay, so you mean in the meta context?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant for a second, like in universe, Spider-Man created mechs for Super Sentai stuff,
You know, maybe.
which would have been
Sort of.
They do love doing
Ooh.
crossovers. So I wouldn't be surprised. It's it's really interesting when you actually dive into the history of like Super Sentai and Kamen Rider because the shows are both like so old that there's so much history that's just not known here in the West, especially because we didn't start learning about Super Sentai until the 90s, and by then we were years and years behind.
Got 2 decades worth of backlog.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was gonna
So
make a joke about what do you mean this uses special effects? It's not just all shot with in real time with actors, but
well, yeah, that's the special effect is they take an actor and they put him in a robot suit.
hit the
no,
button.
they
Billions
they
of
don't.
No,
explosions.
you mean it's not real?
Yeah, it's not real.
You mean it's not a real giant robot?
Oh no, Japan is just like that. I
Okay,
know, I was born there.
yeah.
I remember being a
Oh.
baby, being lulled to sleep by the sounds of giant robots fighting in the streets.
Okay, good,
Sparks
good.
hit the window.
Yeah.
Then you rolled at me with the Japanese Spider-Man with a giant mech, and I just got thrown off.
Yeah, it's
I don't know how to
I
process that
mean,
information today.
it's very hard to process the existence of a Spider-Man who refers to himself as the emissary of hell.
Yeah.
Wait.
What?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yep.
I am the
I'm the
emissary of
emissary
hell,
of hell,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Oh
What?
man,
Check out
70s
616
Spider-Man
Japanese
rules so
Spider-Man
hard.
on Disney Plus.
he has a lot of. Oh my god, they. Oh wow, they have. That's where they're keeping it.
Well, is it on? Please tell me it's actually
It's
on
on
Disney
Disney
Plus.
Plus.
Oh
It's a
baby!
new short series based on it. It looks
Oh,
new.
Oh,
I don't know if the original is. Anyone who has Disney Plus, feel free to confirm or deny.
I'm going to browse.
I really want us to hunt down the original too because I don't know if you've seen them go around, but there are a lot of like really great gifs that come from that old Japanese Spider-Man. A personal favorite or two personal favorites of mine are the one where he's just crawling around on the floor and then banging on the ground with the wrench. That's
Okay.
from that show. And
Oh,
then the one where the camera is on a woman and then it pans to the background and you see Spider-Man's head pop out of the ceiling. That is
Yeah,
also from that show.
that's a classic.
It's such a great gif, and it's from that show. So definitely, that is a series I want us to get to at some point.
I feel like
But
we have to at that point, yeah.
oh yeah, we'll have to tackle it at some point. But I feel like we've gotten a little bit off track. I think we were going
a
to turn
little.
the interview back on the interviewer
Sure.
now. All right,
Yes.
the three of you now have to rock paper scissors to decide who's going to be interview lead.
Eh.
So B is they're stuck in paper because their hands extended.
Oh no.
True.
Shakes is stuck
I
in
got-
rock.
I got double rocks.
And
I'm seeing paper.
Who do you want to lose
double
to
rocks,
first?
paper.
yeah, I think I have paper too.
All right, so
Wait,
paper
no.
ties for infinity
No, wait.
between B and
No, no, no,
Gopher.
no. B has scissors.
Right, because
No,
you
that-
covered up two of my fingers.
No, what? That's not how this works. I can see the other one.
But does that mean I lose to Shakes and then Shakes loses to you, or does that
This is a
mean
good
you
question.
beat Shakes
How
and
does
then I
rock,
beat
paper,
you?
scissors work with JPEGs, Fets?
Don't ask me. I'm a PNG.
These are PNGs.
Oh, yeah.
Say brave shakes.
A little bit.
This is gonna be fun already. I can tell.
um,
We can go with Gotetsu's option. He has a gun.
okay. Gotetsu has a gun, so who introduces Fats first? Gotetsu.
I mean, there are three of you. There's three questions. You could just go in order.
Yeah. That's probably the best. B, okay. B goes first.
I go. Oh, okay. Well,
Okay.
welcome our wonderful host and the creator of this podcast, King Fats.
Hello. Thank you. It's very nice to be here.
Well, thank you so very much for coming. If you would mind, please feel free to introduce yourself however you'd like to our lovely audience.
I mean, there's not a lot to introduce, but I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I am King Fats 95. I am just a kind of overall internet guy at the moment. I've started streaming a little bit. We are going to start trying to do a little more streaming in earnest once I pick up some things to beef up the old rig here because poor girl, she's not that strong, and so she's a little limited in what she can do. Other than that, I guess I like fighting games a lot. So if you come and start watching me stream more often, it's probably going to be a lot of that. At the moment, I'm usually trying to keyword trying to stream weekly of myself and my guild in World of Warcraft, doing our weekly progression raids. And also, I have attempted to create this podcast for the enjoyment of the masses and myself.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much. I'm very much looking forward to working on this project with you.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I do too.
I have two questions.
Okay, hit me with it.
One, why does Japanese Spider-Man have a submachine gun?
To fight crime.
Because Japanese Spider-Man goes hard in the paint, and he stays hard in the paint. Like, you don't understand. Japanese Spider-Man does not have a chill.
really doesn't.
He's
Action,
going to
action,
stop
action.
the bad guys by any means necessary. And I feel like, just to piggyback off
Right.
of one of our previous conversations as we were planning this particular series, while I cannot say with 100% certainty, I am pretty sure the bad guys in the Japanese Spider-Man series are Nazis. So very
Why?
important to know. You got to use the submachine gun when you're fighting the
Yeah.
Nazis. It's
Fair.
mandated by the
Except nothing
state.
less, really.
Aren't lying. Been just every
It was
antagonist after in like the
just
70s was just Nazis.
it was
Uh,
just like so much like fascism is bad, don't do it, kids.
I mean, I agree, but
Return to
It's
those times.
yeah, right.
um,
Remember when people went hard on that?
uh, and second, more serious question. You said you wanted to do this for a long time. Um, but what made you initially want to do this?
So actually, one, just kind of listening to podcasts a lot and kind of seeing as I expanded my podcast library that like, oh hey, wow, you really can kind of just do a podcast about whatever, huh? But specifically the thing that really got me into it was my younger sister expressed interest in watching Kamen Rider. And I'd been watching it for a couple of years at that point, so I had a bunch of Kamen Riders saved on my computer. So I was like, "Yeah, you want to watch Kamen Rider? Pick one, and I'll give it to you. Go nuts!" And so as she was working her way through that Kamen Rider series, I kind of just thought, "Hey, you know what might be fun? What if I did a podcast where me and my little sister talked about Kamen Rider?" Because she was someone who was new to Kamen Rider. I was someone who had been watching it for a while, and so I just kind of had that idea, and I kind of kicked it around for a little bit until it turned into this whole thing of just like, hey, what if I took a bunch of people who had never seen Kamen Rider before, and I had them watch it, and like said, okay, so what do you think? Pretty wild, right? It was especially born of because there was one actually specifically the season that I had wanted to start you guys on X8. We sat down and we just like watched through the whole thing together over a couple of weeks, and it was just watching her react to that show, especially when I knew what was gonna happen, and just kind of having that moment of being like, "Oh boy, here it comes," and just turning to look at them while they react to what was happening on the screen was so much fun. I was like, "This would be probably a really good podcast experience." So that was the main thing that really kinda birthed this idea with my head was just kind of watching it with my sister and seeing how fun it was to watch people react to the stuff that happens in the Kamen Rider series, especially when you already know.
Thank you. Um, what is your experience? Actually, no, I'll let Shakes ask that question. I already went.
Yep.
What?
There you go. Ask
Takes
a,
you got a question for me?
yeah.
Yeah. Just I have one question for you, Mr. King Fats the 95th.
Yep.
What made you think it was okay to force people to sit through 98 episodes of Kamen Rider?
What?
Well, here's the thing that you have to understand. I'm a bad man, and there's only one thing that feeds me and gives me energy, and it's people suffering. There's nothing more delicious than the suffering of other people, especially when I've somehow tricked those people into being my friends first. The
Yeah.
suffering of a friend is just, mwah, oh, it's so good,
Follow up
sweet,
question.
light, and delicious. Go ahead, Gopher.
If you're so keen on the suffering of people, why are you such a nice person?
Um,
Um,
these are lies.
Source?
This is slander. Yeah,
Source?
I want a source on that. I want to
King
know who is
Fats
saying
right
that I'm
here.
a good and nice person.
Me?
I'm gonna put that person in a full Nelson suplex so fast that their head is going to spin.
I
That person, they're getting choke slammed to
can't
hell.
believe I'm gonna get choke slammed.
Oh yeah,
Straight through the ring.
straight through the ring.
Pyrotechnics goes up.
Oh yeah, shakes nose.
I've seen her wrestle.
I've seen one or two. Are there any other questions for the interviewer?
I could ask that final question. You had expressed having a very long and seasoned history watching Kamen Rider since high school, but could you give us a little more information on exactly how much experience you have with uh, these kind of shows and tokusatsu in general?
Yeah, so I will kind of lay the foundation for my whole love of everything kind of Japanese by saying that I am essentially a weeb from birth. Uh as I mentioned, like not a joke, unironically, I was actually born in Japan. My father was active duty in the Air Force at the time. So my whole family lived in Japan and I was born there. And then like the summer I turned 3, he got restationed back into the United States. So I have a whole family of people who have a bunch of wonderful memories of living in Japan that I don't remember.
Aw.
Yeah,
My family has a similar experience. I understand your pain.
yeah, so I've kind of always tried to fill that void by sort of absorbing as much kind of Japanese culture through osmosis as I could. So, I watched Toonami like religiously when I was a little kid. My parents actually, because they were familiar with anime from being in Japan, let us like stay up late on Saturday nights so we could watch like Cowboy Bebop and Inuyasha and Yu Yu Hakusho with them together. So
Oh,
I've had a long kind of storied history of absorbing kind of Japanese content to kind of try and fill that gap. And so part of that was, years and years down the line after I had stopped watching Power Rangers, finding out, oh hey, half of that show, like half the footage from that show comes from a Japanese show called Super Sentai. Uh, and so when I had started looking into Super Sentai, I actually found that one season I had mentioned, that 35th anniversary season. It's called Kaizak Sentai Gokaiger. And I saw there's actually this really great scene from an episode where the Red Ranger goes through, he transforms into every single Red Ranger that has ever existed up to him in sequence. And it's this awesome, like super anime fight sequence. And I saw that and I was like, all right, I gotta get into this thing. I got to start watching. So when I went to go and pick up that Super Sentai season to watch, the site that I was grabbing it from had Kamen Rider there too. And I was like, oh, hey, Kamen Rider, I've heard about this vaguely. Why not? Let's just pick it up and watch it. So grabbed a random Kamen Rider, watched it, fell in love with it immediately. Was like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're just gonna keep watching these. And so I've kind of just sort of dug my way through as much Kamen Rider and as much Super Sentai as I could since then. I try to, keep up to date. It can be a little difficult between not knowing when exactly sites are going to upload their episodes and having to try and find a good place to get episodes in English and making sure rips are good and that sort of thing. And also you just need free time to actually watch the show because it's like a full 30-minute length show, not including commercials and stuff. Uh but I've tried to keep up with this thing because it was just something I kind of went to check out on a whim, and it's kind of everything that I love that I missed from Japan, and that I feel like I love now because of those missed memories from Japan. So it's mecha and kung fu and people in colorful suits doing ridiculous poses, and it's all the stuff that I kind of got told to think was super cool from being a kid who grew up watching like Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon and Gundam Wing and stuff, while kind of dreaming of, a place that I had not gotten to remember living in.
That was a surprisingly wholesome answer. Love it.
yeah,
Don't
Like,
say that.
oh,
Stop.
it's
um,
so
I'm
tender.
a monarch. I'm a horrible person. But
you can be
yeah, I
both.
mean, it's just I guess I had never really thought about it that deeply until then, but just kind of putting all the pieces together just then as I was answering, it's like, yeah, it kind of all just started from just, I've kind of been a weeb from birth, and so I guess it was kind of just sort of natural that I would gravitate to this sort of stuff. And I mean, why not gravitate to this sort of stuff? I don't care who you are or what you look like or what ethnicity or you are or gender or sexuality or whatever. You look at Kamen Rider stuff and it's fucking cool as hell, man. Kamen Rider is look, you guys just watch Kamen Rider. It's really cool.
It's the
Yeah.
uh, something that we should all be able to agree on. Giant robots fighting bigger things is cool.
It's awesome.
God,
It's
yes.
never not awesome.
Would we still like to open it up to chat? I know we faffed about a little bit more than potentially expected, but
I will go ahead and leave that up to our wonderful cast. I know some of us have places where we need to be relatively soon, but I mean, I would say, I would love to take some chat questions if chat actually has them. Um, but at the end of the day, I will leave it up to you guys to decide if you feel like you've got enough time to do so.
I think this would be a very good time to take some questions if anybody has them.
Yeah, anybody in the chat, if you've got questions, it's not really a question, but I'll just kind of respond to Deadode's comment earlier because they said I never thought I would hear anime being in such an actual wholesome family thing, and yeah, I don't know, that was just kind of that was the thing with my family was it was like a some families do Sunday night dinner. We all kind of got together and we watched anime together. It was a really good time.
It probably
Gotetsu.
helps that you didn't have like the kind of subtly xenophobic stance of a lot of parents of like, what are the weird
Yeah.
violence cartoons from Japan? I don't know.
Ugh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm
it
not gonna
definitely helped
investigate
that.
that. I'm not letting my kids watch that. They were just like, yeah, we know what these
Yeah,
stories
they
are.
they were just like, "Oh yeah, I know that show. We
They
used to
came
watch
out
that back
years
in
ago.
Japan." Yeah, exactly. Gotetsu has a good question, which fuck. Damn, that actually is a good question. Okay, no, I know the answer. So Gotetsu wanted to know what is my favorite Super Sentai season. And I am going to say of the ones I've watched, while Gokaiger is very close, my favorite one has to be Koryuga. One, just because I super super love the cast, and also two because it is the only like Toku type show I have ever seen that actually made me cry. And it was at the death of a villain. So
Okay.
quality
Gotcha.
stuff right there. Authentic wine flavor has a question. I am worried.
Uh,
Oh no.
Let's see.
Well, no. Hold on, hold
Please
on.
escort this man out of the building.
Here, why not? This is
we,
a really good question.
we can
Why do they
escort the
call it
Zemby out the
oven
building.
when you in the cold food of out hot eat the food?
I
Well, you
believe
see,
it's because of
Oh
in
no!
the cold food, hot eat the food,
She
taste
killed
of
them.
good, you know?
This is
Um,
I love that question because it makes me think of a question my dad has mentioned a few times from back when he was in the military and he was doing like some sound equipment testing that they would have him do and it was like a pen and paper quiz, and he said every now and again they would throw down a weird question just to confuse you, and the specific example he gave was one time he was taking one of those quizzes, and one of the questions was why a duck.
why?
Why
Why
not
a
a
duck?
duck? Because
red. That's my answer.
Yeah, exactly. it's
honk.
It's something that we will think
Mm,
about for many years to come.
Um,
And while we're thinking about it, we're going to go ahead and answer Deadode's question because this is actually a really good question.
yeah, that's a
What exactly will the
question.
format of this normally be? So essentially, the way this is going to work is this group here. We're actually going to be separating the season into chunks of 3 episodes. So what we'll do is we will watch the 3 episodes of Kamen Rider. Uh, and then we will gather together to record. And the way the recording process is intended to go is we are going to start with impressions from the previous episodes that we watched. That's obviously going to be a little different for the very first episode. Then we are going to go into, correct me if I'm wrong, but then we're going to start going into the synopsis of each episode, wherein we will kind of give our thoughts and things that we noted down about each episode as we run through the synopsis of each episode. And then I forget, do we have a step after that?
Yes, it's called closing.
Yeah, I think it is just closing.
I think
Um,
it might have been
We wouldn't happen to have
no,
been
we
smart
start
enough
with
to pin it.
reflections
Nope.
from last episode.
yeah.
I don't know exactly what we intend to do with closing outside of wishing you all a lovely day. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be reflections. Go through the synopsis. Have a good day, y'all. We might I may give the names of the next episodes that are going to be watched,
I
so
Ooh.
that
I
way
think
you can like go check them out.
especially since they're on Shout Factory, that would be a good idea.
hmm Yeah,
Um,
so that way people can follow along.
which speaking of following things, where's the thing? There it is. There's the
Oh yes,
there's the thing. We have a Twitter for this.
yes we do.
There is. Wish to follow it, we'll probably announce which episodes we're watching beforehand as well.
So since Deadode is kind of following up on their previous question, I will just say It is not, the point of the episode of the podcast is like you shouldn't have to watch the episode before listening to the podcast. If you want to, you are welcome to. It's definitely probably going to provide a lot more context for what we are going to be, talking about, but it's not a requirement. We're not going to be like, oh, this is a watch along, podcast. You're not going to know what we're talking about if we, unless you watched. But I mean, I'm certainly not going to say don't do it because it'll definitely help you if you do.
Yeah, it'll only do you favors to know what we're talking about.
And also you can
Yeah, exactly.
be like, oh yeah, I remember that part where the radioactive mega gazelle punched this robot, and then the
And then you can
robot,
yell at us for all the stuff we missed.
yeah,
Yeah,
it'll be
exactly.
great.
How are you going to yell at us about what we missed if you don't watch the episodes with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, please do. So just a short recap if you'd like to watch the episodes before the first episode of the podcast comes out. We'll be watching the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, let me actually go hunt down the names of those for you. Actually, so
Or that is the first 3 episodes of the original Kamen Rider series.
They should
yeah,
be, I believe, they
just
are
gonna pull those up. They're great names.
the mysterious Spider-Man, the terrifying Batman, and Monster
Mhm.
Scorpion Man.
I
Yep.
believe that is yep, that is
Yeah,
They're all
exactly
very good
correct.
thumbnails.
Really
fantastic. Yeah.
just amazing thumbnails. But yeah, so Kamen Rider, it's just called Kamen Rider because it's the very first
Here,
one. Uh you'll know it's got the right one because probably somewhere it will mention that it was made in 1971.
I can also,
And yeah,
yeah, there you go.
I linked. Here's the Shout Factory thing.
Yeah.
fantastic.
Their
Yeah,
interface
so
is a little crummy, so I'm just linking you directly to the gallery.
there you go. But yes, the first 3 episodes, Mysterious Spider-Man, The Terrifying Batman, and Monster Scorpion Man, and I think that is going to be a lot of fun.
I'm so excited already.
Yeah, I
I'm,
was
yeah, I'm just reading the first 12 episode titles
I'm
we've got
particularly
here.
excited for episode 8.
Yeah.
oh, what I just closed the
Strangeness,
tab.
Bee Woman.
B?
No, it's not me, I
Strangeness.
swear.
Can't be, yeah.
No, yeah.
Oh, true, it's B Woman.
That
There's
reminds
2
me-
Cobra Man episodes
I
back to
just-
back.
Oh, baby, double the Cobra, double the fun.
I have 900 sisters, maybe it's one of them.
I think my favorite part about the title of number 8 is it's just strangeness, exclamation point.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Strangeness.
Yeah, I mean, it is strange, isn't it? I will say that actually did remind me at one point I was going to ask because I know Kika had mentioned about like, oh, we should all make Kamen Rider Sonas at some point. B, do you know about the B Rider?
What?
No,
There,
tell me everything.
Should we Google
I don't know
this?
much about him myself, but there was a it's called Kamen Rider Kabuto. It's one of the like 2000 seasons. And so all of the writers are based off of bugs. And so there is a he is not B themed specifically, I will say, because
Is-
his name is Kamen Rider Hornet.
oh.
Well,
Wait,
you
but,
know.
Kamen Rider Zabi.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, there he is, Kamen Rider Zabi.
Never mind.
But yeah, there's just straight up a B rider, and then they use
Yeah.
that motif again in one of the more recent series. They gave one of the tertiary writers a like Hornet themed buff. But yeah, there's just straight up a B. I wonder if there's an octopus too, actually, because there's one season where it's a bunch of just like various animal themed writers.
I mean,
So you would think
there's at least an octopus villain.
There's
I
definitely at least an
immediately came
octopus
up on
villain.
an octopus villain. Wow, she's cute. Or I assume she. Wait, this is not. What?
There seems to be
It's like half a
multiples.
Common Rider?
Oh yeah, that was the other thing I was saying. I forgot that one of Build's combinations was octopus light.
Yeah.
So
There's a
I'm not
few octopus builds.
I'm not worried about spoiling this for you guys because Build will probably be a long way away. But the whole conceit of Build is that they are a writer. They're like a two things become one writer. So they combine two different concepts like ninja comic book or pirate train station, or their base
Oh,
form
Or
is rabbit
octopus
tank.
light bulb.
Yeah, or octopus light bulb,
oh
and
God,
that's how they transform.
I love this color combo. Oh my
It's really good.
god.
Yeah, the
it's
pink and the
good.
yellow.
It's
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 mwah,
lemonade, pink lemonade.
exactly.
The shadow demons are little slim pickings in Kamen Rider.
Yeah, no, unfortunately.
There
Well,
is
hey,
one.
look,
There is a
look, I
villain
did.
called Shadow Moon, but
I didn't even try to look up weird desert dog slash salamander, so don't even worry about it.
Saw
Uh,
a really man,
going
there's
back
some
to
really cool fan art of an octopus Kamen Rider.
oh yeah, yeah. I think I was actually I'm
My
pretty sure I was
yearning.
following that particular artist. I should make sure I go hunt them down on the podcast account and follow them as well. Just real quick, I want to get back to a chat question because Gotetsu Kamen wanted to know what I thought of the American adaptation of Masked Rider, which is if I recall correctly, it's a Saban adaptation of Kamen Rider Black RX. I am for it specifically because I think Black RX is cool and he has a dope suit. But aside from that, I've never actually watched it, so I can't specifically say. Yeah, Deado Kamen Rider School is the coolest dude. He's the coolest dude ever. Um, Authentic Wine Flavor wanted to know: is there any Clownmen writers?
there
Not
looks like it.
No, no,
that I'm
clownin' riders.
aware of, like off the top of my head. There might be someone out there. I mean, surely there must be.
I-
But
Kamen
oh,
Rider clown.
There's
oh, that's a
there
really
is
good octopus that Shakes just linked. That's amazing.
There's a clown villain.
Oh, there's
That dude's
definitely a clown
definitely a
villain.
very evil man.
there's one in Kamen Rider Build, which is just a normal guy dressed up as a
Oh
clown.
yeah, it's from the episode where Banjo is dressed like a clown.
I don't know.
Sure is.
Um,
Yeah, there was definitely an episode where of this is specifically from the Build series where they have to dress up one of the guys like a clown.
that's
But yeah,
that's fantastic.
unfortunately, no clown riders for you that there, Wime. I apologize, but one day.
I'm just gonna throw this in the chat.
Oh, Shakes, that's good. Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh,
Oh God, I love it.
Oh man. All right. Well, I think we're gonna go ahead and keep
Um,
this open for a bit. Are there any other questions from our wonderful friends here in chat? We've gotten some good ones so far. Any other questions of any kind for any of us? Please let us know.
here's a question, and this is a legitimate question.
Hit me with it.
Do we know how long the episodes are going to be, roughly? I know we've discussed this briefly, but how long are we
Yes.
shooting for podcast episodes?
As far as podcast episodes, I'd say initially I was saying we probably weren't going to go past 30 to 45 minutes, but that was back on a one episode schedule. Now that we are jumping over to 3 episodes, I imagine that the episodes are going to be a little bit longer. I am trying to make sure they are not too much longer than that. So I imagine we are. I'm gonna probably try to hard cap us at about an hour tops per
Okay.
episode. Hour, maybe hour 15. Because I don't want it to be too long,
Yeah.
but I also understand that we've just got so much more content that we need to get through. So we're gonna need a little extra time.
So roughly an hour, potentially.
Yeah. Yeah,
But we'll
roughly an
have to
hour is
see.
what I'm aiming for. And if we find out we end up just needing more time, then whoops, we need more time.
hmm.
But we're it's early goings at the moment, but hopefully we should be able to cover about an hour. Going back to a chat question real quick, Gotetsu's been on top of it as far as all of the like American adaptations. Unfortunately, I didn't watch Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. I've seen some stuff from Ryuki, but I haven't watched it. I've heard Dragon Knight is actually apparently one of the better like Saban adaptations of a series just in general, but also of a Kamen Rider. So that might be something we were talking about. Maybe checking out some of the dubs, if they existed for some of these Kamen Rider series as like a special thing. So maybe if we can't find dubs, we might check out Masked Rider and Dragon Knight. Get some of that good old Saban American writer goodness.
Heck yeah.
Any other questions from anyone in the chat? Any other questions from any of our lovely hosts here? Otherwise, I think we're probably just about ready to wrap it up, huh?
Um, oh,
Oh,
you go.
sorry. Oh, okay. Thank you. Did um for for the sake of everyone in the audience, could we go over the plans for uploading? Obviously, these will be announced on the official Twitter, but just to get it stated out here, where will people be able to listen to this lovely podcast?
Yes. So for early goings, right now, we are going to be hosting the podcast on its own Spotify and its own YouTube channel. I believe the YouTube channel should be under the name. Yeah, so the YouTube channel is under the name Longtime Watcher, First Time Rider Podcast. I believe the Spotify should be under the same name as well. I will work on making sure we get those links pinned onto the Twitter so that way you can go check them out. In the future, I am, of course, going to be looking into trying to set up an RSS feed and seeing if we can get ourselves on Spotify and iTunes as well. But for the very early goings, it's going to be Spotify and YouTube.
Awesome. Thank you.
How about for when do we plan to start this for everyone else?
So, specifically just because I do not know exactly
Ah,
how long. Up, hold on. There's a raid. Hello, raiders. Hola, como
Oh,
estás?
hello.
What's
Welcome to
poppin'?
the end of the interview.
Yeah, unfortunately, welcome
welcome
to
to
kind
the
of
end
the
of a
end of the
thing.
whole thing.
Oh,
You
But
missed everything. I'm sorry. You'll have to watch the VOD and get all
yeah,
your info.
which we may look into trying to actually get this VOD posted up like on the YouTube so that people can check it out. But hello words, how are you doing? How was the couch? I did get to catch a little bit of it and what I saw looked like it was a lot of fun. So what
same
did
here.
we what was what we missed? How was that? Was it a good time? Let us know. And I guess while I wait for that response in chat, I will oh, right. When are we going to upload? Um, so uh, at the moment, just specifically because we do not know how long the process of actually editing the episode is going to take. We are going to be we're not certain exactly when we will be able to upload, if possible. If actually editing doesn't take that long, I'd like to shoot for us uploading the same day that we record, which is going to be this Friday is when we'll be recording the first episode. I recognize that may not necessarily be a possibility. So I will say for the time being, keep your eyes on the Twitter because I will make sure that I make a post when we are ready to put up the first episode. If there are any delays for whatever reason, I'll be making sure people are aware of that as well. But hopefully, currently, the idea is to try and get a same day upload, but we'll have to actually get the episodes into editing and see what needs to be cut first before we can actually put a full determination on that.
So basically, within a week, most likely, is when this will start. And
Yeah.
despite this being streamed, recordings of the podcast themselves will not be. Um, this was just kind of an announcement stream and interview, so we could have a open chat if anyone had questions.
Yeah, this is specifically just kind of something to help get a little audience interaction, let people introduce themselves, build a little bit of hype. But yeah, the actual podcast itself is not going to be a streamed thing. It'll be just kind of a recorded and then uploaded podcast.
If you do have any further questions watching this, feel free to at the Twitter or leave a comment if this does get posted on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely going to be the best place to go ahead and leave any of those comments. Again, the Twitter is at First Ride Pod. I know Gopher posted the link
I
to
shall
the
post it
Twitter
again for
earlier.
any new folks coming in.
That would be much appreciated.
There we are.
So there you go. You can follow that Twitter right there, First Ride Pod. And pretty much anything related to the podcast is probably going to be announced at that Twitter. That's going to be kind of where we'll do all of our announcements and things.
Does anyone have any closing words?
He's right there.
Yeah, he just got here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but besides the lovely slime friend who has just taken a seat, any spoken words, I should say.
If no one else has anything, I will say thank you very much to everyone who came to this stream and checked us out. Thank you to those in the chat who interacted with us. Thank you to Words for the raid, even though it was unfortunately maybe not the most perfectly timed raid.
No, it's
We
always
appreciate
perfect,
it
don't worry.
anyway. I hope you guys are all looking forward to this as much as I am, because I think this is really going to be a whole lot of fun, and I hope you all agree. And I think next it's just kind of the wait to get that first episode up, and we will make sure that people are well informed once it is ready, and out there for the universe to enjoy. And until then, I hope everyone has a good night and a wonderful week, and we will see you the next time we see you, I guess.